Over the last 43 years, I have given more than 700 presentations of an illustrated lecture called Flying Saucers Are Real. It lasts about 90 minutes. I cover 5 large-scale scientific studies that 98% of the people have never heard of. I deal with all aspects of the flying saucer phenomenon. Obviously, I can't do that here today. I can give you my conclusions. The first one, the evidence is overwhelming that planet Earth is being visited by intelligently controlled extraterrestrial spacecraft. Some so-called unidentified flying objects are alien spacecraft. Most are not. I don't care about those. Some few people within major governments have known for most of that time that indeed some so-called UFOs are alien spacecraft. Unfortunately, what also comes out of this is that our civilization is not the most advanced in the local galactic neighborhood. But in terms of today's conference, this week's conference, we can say that there's been a lot of innovation out there that we haven't yet achieved. My mantra is that technological progress comes from doing things differently in an unpredictable way. The future is not an extrapolation of the past. There is a need for change. I picked a terrible example in terms of its overall impact, but we can see how man has advanced in getting better at killing people by being creative. During World War II, a big bomb was a 10-ton blockbuster. Took a big B-29 to carry it. Did a lot of damage when it was dropped. Within a few years, we had an atomic bomb releasing the energy of 15,000 tons of TNT. That was 1945. 7 years later, we tried something different. An H-bomb, 10 million tons of TNT equivalent. Created a fireball 3 miles wide. One wonders what the visitors must have thought about this society of ours. Good at killing. The people on this planet this year will spend over $1 trillion on things military. 30,000 children died yesterday of preventable disease and starvation, and will today and tomorrow and the next day. That tells you a great deal about our society. You don't have to look far to see how progress comes from doing things differently. The Apollo command module hits the atmosphere at 25,000 miles an hour. It's round and it's blunt, much more like a flying saucer than like a high-speed airplane should be, we thought. A different approach to propulsion involves magneto-aerodynamics. I did a literature search of government reports back in 1970. There were 900, 90% were classified. Somebody is interested in magneto-aerodynamics. I worked on nuclear rocket engines. You'll see a picture of one in a moment. The biggest one, about this big in diameter, power level was 4,400 megawatts. That's twice the power of Grand Coulee Dam. That was tested before 1970, mind you. The nuclear world, navies have submarines that can go for years without refueling. A nuclear-powered aircraft carrier can go for 18 years without refueling. Now, I worked on fusion rockets. They're exciting. You can kick particles out the back end that have 10 million times as much energy per particle as you can get in a conventional chemical rocket. Progress comes from doing things differently. There's a picture of an H-bomb on the left. There are some of the equations on the right. There are a number of different fusion equations. If you use the right stuff in the right way, you can kick particles out the back end with 10 million times as much energy per particle as in a chemical rocket. Every advanced civilization will know about fusion. Why? Because that's how the stars work. And they seem to be working all over the place out there. I said some people know more than others and aren't telling us. It took me 5 years to get these two examples of CIA UFO documents. You can read 8 words per page. There are thousands of documents that haven't been released. In the upper left, the nuclear-powered carrier, 18 years without refueling. On the right, 2 nuclear-powered submarines. Man is already harnessing the nucleus. Somebody a little more advanced than we are, say 100,000 years, is going to go way beyond that. There's a schematic in case you're wondering about a nuclear rocket. Cold hydrogen goes in and gets heated in the reactor and goes out hot. And the one on the right is one of these. That's one of the Phoebus systems. It was safely tested out not far from Area 51 in the Nevada desert. These are real, not imaginary. There is a lot of material out there. There's a lot of scientific material. There's a lot of junk out there about UFOs. Do look at the scientific material. There's a great deal to be learned. And let me give you one little thought. The most likely place that some of our visitors are originating from, one of 2 stars that are only 39 light years from here. That's just down the street. But these 2 sun-like stars are only 1/8 of a light year apart. They're 30 times closer to each other than the sun is to the next star over. They're 1 billion years older than the sun. They have had plenty of time and plenty of incentive to develop means for travel between the stars. And even if they're only 500 years ahead of us, think what wondrous technology they will have. Why don't they talk to us? I don't talk to the squirrels in my backyard. Thank you very much for listening.
Stanton, I had just a quick follow-up question for you. In the pre-discussion, you had mentioned a particular organization that you felt was one of the most responsible collectors of reportings.
Yes.
What is that organization?
There is an organization called the Mutual UFO Network. It's headquartered in Colorado in the United States. It's been around for 41 years, has an annual symposium with papers by scientists. Last month, they posted something like 500 reports of UFO sightings. Not 500, and that's a tiny percentage of all those that have occurred.
Okay, thank you.